Hitman is a stealth game series developed by IO Interactive. The first game saw a release in 2000 for the PC, and later installments would follow across multiple platforms throughout the years. The main character of the series is Agent 47, a genetically engineered assassin who's sent on missions all throughout the world to carry out hits on his assigned targets. While I can't say I'm too familiar with the earlier titles, I have casually played and completed the World of Assassination trilogy. These games are simply divine, and I love that while at first glance, it seems like a very serious game, but it actually doesn't take itself too seriously. The first Dead Rising game is a similar comparison. The story itself is frightening and mysterious, but then you put Frank in a children's outfit and kill zombies with condiments, and you can't help but have a good laugh in the midst of a crisis. The World of Assassination levels are Sandbox style, and while you're initially directed a certain way on how to send your target to the next dimension, taking the time to explore each level will reward you by learning new ways on how to carry out your mission. But one of the coolest things about these games is that you can literally take out your targets however you want. As long as you finish the mission and make it to an exit point alive, you're golden. The options are practically limitless, but something in particular caught my attention. In the Miami mission, which is featured in Hitman 2, your targets are Robert and Sierra Knox. Their deep lore isn't too important for this video, but to give you the dumbed down Ray notes, Robert is the co-founder of a technology company called Kronstadt Industries, and his daughter Sierra is the CFO and a race car driver. The company secretly sells high-tech military equipment, which was used to betray their faction called Providence, who upon learning of this, contracted us to take them out. In Miami, Sierra is competing in a race, and her team is of course sponsored by Kronstadt. Robert is in attendance, but mostly spends his time in the Kronstadt building away from the public. When the mission begins, you can enter the event center where the race is taking place. Going straight past all the hustle and bustle will bring you to a large porta-potty section. Some of them are left open, and in the right situation, you can drown someone in the public's pee and doo-doo feces. In my opinion, this has got to be one of the silliest ways in the game to finish someone off, and I knew what I needed to do. So let's see if you can beat Hitman's Miami mission using only porta-potties. I don't think I really need to explain the core requirements for completing this challenge, but I will say that since this is purely for fun, I opted to play on the professional difficulty instead of master. I figured it'd make this challenge more entertaining, but not terribly easy. I also won't be killing anyone other than the targets, but will knock people out as needed. Before we get started, I'll briefly explain some of the basic mechanics in case anyone watching hasn't played these games before. While you can do what you want, you're encouraged to approach each mission with stealth in mind. There's a variety of lethal and non-lethal weapons you can load out with or find throughout every area. Lethal weapons are of course lethal, and non-lethal weapons or objects can be used to knock out and distract others, some of them capable of taking out security cameras as well. You have a default outfit that you wear when the mission begins, and can unlock more as you progress. Other outfits can be obtained from specific people by knocking them out temporarily or for good. The bodies of your victims will be left on the ground after your attack, and if an NPC notices them, they'll run for help or try to wake them up. To prevent this, you can drag bodies around and hide them out of plain sight. The NPCs will also call for help if they notice you committing a crime, or even if they hear gunshots nearby. Specific outfits will give you safe access to restricted areas, but there will always be a few people that won't recognize you, so you can't let your guard down. There are cameras around that will record your movements and current outfit. Those can be destroyed, but just be sure to stay out of sight. If you get noticed in an area or outfit that you shouldn't be in, the alerted individual will call for help, and if they're packing, they'll attack you if you don't get out of sight quickly. Should you find yourself in an encounter, you can hide out in various areas, receptacles, in crowds of people, or you can change clothes to draw suspicion away from you. In time, you'll stop being hunted down, but you may be compromised in the outfit that you're currently wearing. This status will quickly alert those looking for you, so it's probably best to find some new threads if this happens. Agent 47 has an ability called Instinct, where you can locate where your targets or enemies are at any given point. Once the targets have been eliminated in whatever way you see fit, all you have to do from there is reach an exit point and you're home free. When the mission is cleared, you'll get experience points and a rating based on how well you did. Experience can be given in a bunch of different ways, and as your level increases, you unlock new loadout items, weapons, and outfits. That about covers the basics, so let's get into it. It had been a couple of years since I last played this mission, so I spent a little time getting reacquainted with the game in Miami area. After locating where the designated disposal point was, I set my sights on Robert Knox. I trespassed into an employees-only area and subdued an innocent man for his outfit, then continued to trespass into the Kronstadt building, looking for another opportunity to switch clothes again to infiltrate the premises, which went okay.
The guards around here, they don't appreciate trespassers.
Okay, I'll leave. I'm leaving. I have an idea. Wait for it.
Command source and threat.
Hey, you! Trespasser! Hey, you are gonna... You son
Sorry, ma'am.
Someone help.
Oh, this mess. If only somebody would clean it up, this mess. Ah!
My command.
Wait for it. Hold on. Watch this.
Shoot to kill.
Who could have done this?
Where'd that guy go?
While I had a new swanky outfit and comfortable access to the Kronstadt building, my actions put the area on high alert, causing Robert and his security guards to seek a safe spot somewhere. I followed them and hid in a locker until the heat turned down a bit. The cause for concern eventually died, then Robert and one of his guards left the safe room and foolishly took the stairs where there was seemingly no one around to witness my attack.
And starting a street fight. Shit, don't kill me.
All right.
Hey, you! Drop the corpse!
He's not dead yet.
Ah!
Once the clocks were cleaned on the two guards, I put them to bed in a cozy closet and went back to drag sleepy Robert Knox to the swirly center. You alright? My next objective was to figure out how to get Robert out of the building without alerting anyone. At the bottom of these stairs is the parking garage, and right when you open the doors, there's a security camera that'll catch me in the act. Before I could proceed, I had to put the camera out of commission, so I ran back up the stairs, grabbed a firearm, then discreetly shot the camera and disabled it. In doing so, my quiet gun alerted two security guards nearby, who I quickly subdued and stuffed in a box. Continuing on, I alerted one more guard and showed him what we do to freshmen. Unconscious witness. Throw him in the trash. I went on ahead to further the potty plot, and there was a big problem. To get Robert to the John, I'd have to drag him through a massive crowd of people. Hope was all but lost, though. I noticed that there's a tiny little opening nearby the medical area that leads to the Port-O-Potties, effectively avoiding the gigantic crowds. Dragging an unconscious sleepyhead through there would be much easier. So I ventured back to get Robert, and unfortunately, he was noticed and woken up by a few individuals. While I took care of that, I changed out my clothes again, only to realize that there was one more person behind me that noticed my crimes and fled to Johnny Law to tattle. Once they were out of sight, I slipped into something more comfortable and resumed the mission. However, it was at this time that I felt kind of lost on how to get Robert over to this area. It's easier said than done. As I was figuring out my next route, I came across a gentleman admiring the ocean view. He looked a little hot, so I kicked him in the water, which somehow killed him and thus resulted in a failed mission.
You're in my bubble right now.
I want to push him so bad just for saying that. Shut up, nerd! Unfortunate, but I was still determined to find the path to victory so I could use it for a much cleaner experience after resetting. That path was still about as foggy as Silent Hill. And to make matters worse, while I was away, someone woke Robert up, and he walked all the way back to the Kronstadt building like nothing happened. So close, yet so far. Over the course of the next hour, I ventured on and continued to formulate my plan, and there were so many silly moments along the way.
Subdue!
Robert Knox?
Subdue!
Don't worry, Mr. Robert Knox. We'll get you to the Port-O-Potty pronto.
There.
Oh, shit. Serpentine. You missed!
Don't.
But in the end, I came up short. Also, my stream crashed after a good long while of running around like a chicken with its head cut off, so that was fun. I picked it up the next day and tested different ideas for a while, but nothing was working. Robert is a tricky target. He almost never leaves the comfort of the Kronstadt building. Getting him out of there past all of the security and employees was going to be tough. That is, unless of course we can somehow get him to come to us. In one of the mission stories, you can dress up as a literal memified Florida man and serve Robert Knox coconut balls at his food stand, which nearby people claims he enjoys quite a bit. The mission suggests that you poison the food, causing Robert to throw up so you can push him in the water. But since he comes outside right around the area I need him to be in, we can skip the main course and go straight for a soft-serve swirly dessert. So my plan was set. I began by collecting some coins around the area. I knew I'd probably need as many as I could get for distraction or luring purposes. After lining my pockets with loose change from the stands, I grabbed one more coin courtesy of the local talent. Here's a tip. Get a job. And made my way over to the Florida man spot by the pier. I tried to entice the Florida man with fake promises of riches, but didn't notice a nearby security guard was aware of my scheme. So after knocking out the Florida man, I subdued the approaching guard, but our misunderstanding alerted one more guard, which put me in a little pickle. Only 2 people can be dropped off in a hiding spot, so I'd have to leave one of the guards behind slightly out of plain sight and let him soak up the rays on the docks for a while. Or at least that's what I planned to do, until another guard saw the unconscious body as I was about to enter the Florida man's domain and woke him up. So I turned around, put the boys down for a nap, went back to the home of the Florida man, grabbed a copy of Belle Biv DeVoe's 1990s hit single Poison, and moseyed on over to the food stand to serve up smiles to Robert Knox. But that's what he thinks. I decided at this point to save in case things went too far south, and right as Robert foolishly went outside to partake in some scrumptious hors d'oeuvres, I switched back into my Sunday best and observed Robert's movements. As it turns out, if you abandon your post at the food stand long enough, Robert will move away to another area in the quest to satisfy his hunger, right by the Florida man's house, which is much closer to our final destination. If I could get him to these stairs and over to the race marshal area, we're nearly home free. I went and scoped out the scene, but while I was doing that, Robert was moving towards the pier, right where our unconscious friends are. He is naturally walking towards the— No! I had no time to think and had to act fast. Our playful fighting was mistaken for a senseless act of crime and got noticed by a lot of people in the area. So while I dragged bodies into the Florida man's shack, I was entered in a battle of epic proportions.
You done? I'm gonna bring you.
I think it's better if we take this outfit.
He quickly comes up with a disguise.
Area is clear. Getting the next location. Don't know what's happened. I'll get back. Heads up!
After the war was over, I knew that some civilians were going to need to be left unconscious so that Robert and I could make our escape. So I hit this guy in the head with the baseball and went back to the shack to grab Robert, only to realize that I had left the door open, causing someone to alert even more authorities. I fought with all my might, but was bested by a hitman's worst enemy.
Shut the door!
While I did manage to shut the door, a security guard noticed that I was playing pretend wrestling with his friend, and he started taking shots at me. So I loaded an autosave to reset the encounter, which did not end well. And after loading it again, I took the guards down, only to have someone notice the other two guards on the pier that we took out earlier. Those guys woke up, and they began their pursuit. But that wouldn't last long. Soon after, my instincts were tingling, and I could see that the snitch was quickly approaching. As you all may know, snitches get stitches. With the rat out of the way, I set my sights on more innocent civilians. I tried to discreetly knock someone out with a soda can, and then had to silence everyone around who noticed that I wasted a perfectly good beverage.
Whoa! Stop doing that! That's evil, man!
I thought the coast was finally clear and scurried back to get Robert. But one person noticed a body catching a little afternoon nap, and that launched another assault, the likes of which only the 9 Divines have seen. I changed my clothes again to blend in better, and finally had clearance to take Robert to the stairs. See, now look at it, we have a clear path! Some more locals got worried about what was going on, but I quickly put those worries to bed and went about my business. On the other side of the stairs, there's more evil afoot, so I had to plan my next move carefully. I checked my trusty map and started walking through my eventual path. This led me to unintentionally trespassing into a Kronstadt employees-only area and started another encounter. I knocked out a couple of fellas and tried to make my escape through this door, and that's where I saw it. It's right— Oh! 2 beautiful Port-O-Potties, with one of them vacant and ready to be put to work. This was much more safe and convenient than my originally planned spot. All I would have to do is clear another path, bring Robert over, and wake him up so he could finally experience a watery grave. To turn some eyes off me, I loaded up a save that I had taken earlier before entering the other side of the stairs, and got to work. This is where my coins would start to come into play. No NPCs in the series can resist shiny circular objects. One by one, I gently took down all the people in sight. This included some medical workers whose outfits would grant me access to the previously restricted area. I gave the loudmouth waiter a warm bottle of milk before laying him down, and had some left over for a few guards who got word that it was nap time. Now that the path was cleared, I saved my game and took Robert with me on the final stretch of our journey together. Soon enough, he was there. I made another save just in case, and now all that I needed to do was get someone to wake him up. My trusty coins would make sure that could be arranged. Eventually, someone came over and saw Robert's unconscious body and alerted one of the guards. The guard came over, woke Robert up, and the moment of truth was upon me. But after knocking down the guard, I didn't have the option to execute Plan P onto Robert. Not a problem. That's why I saved earlier. Maybe he just wasn't positioned properly or the guard got in the way. So I got another guard over, knocked him out with a coconut when Robert awoke, and I still couldn't drown him. I was confused, and took to Google to see what mistakes I was making. It appeared that I had to get Robert to somehow interact with the Port-O-Potty. This can be done by giving him non-lethal poison as he wakes up, which will make him sick and use the Port-O-Potty, and then I can drown him. The only non-lethal poison I was familiar with was the rat poison. You typically only put that in food or a drink. That probably wasn't gonna work. But then I found something else. There's a gun in the game called the Seeker 1. This gun will fire a non-lethal poison dart at someone, causing them to get sick and lose their pretty little lunch. This is just what I needed. Only there was another issue. You can only access the gun in certain levels, or by unlocking it as a loadout weapon by reaching Mastery level 10 on Haven Island. That would require me to grind Haven Island and start this mission all the way back from the beginning, which I didn't really want to do. I was at a loss. Did I make it all this way just to fail because I didn't have a special weapon? I had no idea, and figured this was pretty much over until I could try again with the Seeker 1. That was until my guardian angel arose from the YouTube chat and supplied me with some words of wisdom and guidance. Silkworm suggested that I try getting Robert to face the toilet, which should give me the option to drown him. This could likely be done by luring him with our precious pocket change. The only other obstacle is the guard, who is not only suspicious of our activities in the moment, but can sometimes take more interest in the coins over Robert. It took a few tries, but I got them separated and Robert took the bait.
Yes! Yes! You can do it!
After all hope was seemingly lost, I finally had Robert right where I wanted him. The icing on the cake was the guard walking away while Robert got the swirly of a lifetime, letting me get away with it scot-free. Now I have to get Sierra over here. Yeah, remember there's a second target? Robert was definitely the bigger puzzle to solve, so we took priority. Wouldn't you know it though, Sierra was nearby and heading our way. This couldn't have lined up more perfectly for me. While I was messing around with Robert, Sierra was in what I believe is a Formula 1 type race that plays out in real time. If you don't interfere with it in any way, she'll canonically lose. Afterwards, Sierra will eventually make her way to where we're at now. I made another save and patiently waited for Sierra so I could lure her away with coins and show her what happens to nerds that lose races. However, Sierra was not so easily fooled. If you try to toss a coin near her direction, she'll prompt one of her bodyguards to check out the distraction and continue on her merry way. A minor setback for sure, but Sierra isn't as bright as she seems. Instead of tossing coins for an immediate distraction, they can be placed on the ground. Doing this raises less suspicion, and Sierra will stop to pick it up. With enough coins, we can create a trail that leads to our trap. Oh, sorry, I dropped that. Girl is straight up just like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. That's right. Come on, Sierra Knox.
It's ideal.
Oh, why, woman?
That's good enough.
Drowner! Yes! Swirly! Yes! You fool! Now no one's gonna go to the big dance with you this weekend.
Well done,
Your
47.
head's full of
Head for an
toilet
exit.
water.
Yes.
Nerd.
And just like that, Sierra loses again. Now that both Robert and Sierra got what was coming to them, I switched to a medic outfit, got into a paramedic van, made my sweet escape, and proved that you can beat Hitman's Miami mission using only Port-O-Potties. Thank you all so much for watching. This was such a silly concept for a challenge run that I was excited to put into fruition. It probably could have been a lot cleaner if I had just used coins as a distraction instead of dragging Robert all throughout the area, but it definitely wouldn't have been as fun. If you liked what you saw and haven't checked this series out, I highly recommend giving World of Assassination a try. I'm personally not big on stealth-based games, but with Hitman, there's no right or wrong way to play, and that makes for an incredible experience. I'm definitely interested in doing more silly challenge runs with Hitman, and if there's anything in particular you'd like to see done, I'd love to hear your ideas and suggestions in the comments. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Also, I stream all of my challenge runs live on my Twitch channel and here on YouTube. If you'd like to check that out, be sure to subscribe or follow me on Twitch. The link to my Twitch channel, along with links to my other social media accounts, can be found in the description. If there's a challenge run you'd like to see, you can also check out the description for a direct link where you can submit your ideas. Thanks again for watching, everyone. See you in the next video. Alright, where's my body at? Oh, there he is. Why does he look like Saddam Hussein hiding?